Okay, Mr. Sterling, we have the first question for you.
Like to say
If
good morning, Sister P.
yes, yes.
Okay,
Sorry
sure.
about that. I
Greetings,
didn't
greetings,
even tell you
greetings
good morning on
everywhere.
here.
Sure,
Yeah.
greetings everywhere to my listeners out there from all over the different parishes. Greetings to you. Welcome to the program. You have a question there for me, Sister P?
Yes, this is Marlene in Spring Garden. She says if you get a rash from food processing and it goes away, but it keeps coming back from time to time, and the doctor's medicine doesn't seem to work, what should she do?
Skin rash. She's getting a skin rash from food, something that she ate. That means she has been somewhat poisoned by some kinds of chemicals in foods. Um, and what is happening here is that her immune system is not efficient as it ought to be to overcome this problem. The first thing, if you have a skin reaction from food, it could be that, as I said before, you may have been poisoned by some chemical in the food. Maybe you had foods from cans or some other thing, some dairy product, or I don't know, or foods containing bacteria that you have been contaminated by. And the medicines you get from the doctor didn't work. It may seem to go away for a while, but it comes back again. One of the first things that you should do, and at this point, I would just like to say to families, don't be without some charcoal in your house, some charcoal. That's powdered charcoal. All right, if you had some powdered charcoal and the first sign of that rash, or flare up, and you mix a tablespoon of that charcoal and drink it, probably that would have taken care of it right away. So have some charcoal on hand all the time. In cases of poisonings and flare up like these, you can always take some charcoal and be sure that you are dealing with the condition in a proper way.
Cassidy is still getting calls. Some people at the internet is down. Anyway, let me take this call. Good
Yes.
morning, listener. Good morning. Hello. The line is still open, but I'm not hearing the person. Okay, well, let's move. Let's move on. Did you do anything about that knee thing, Mr. Sterling?
Oh yes, the listener that called last week wanting me to talk about pain, and especially joint pain. I would like to talk a little bit about joint pain while the folks are texting and calling in their questions. Now, pain, I'd like to say firstly, is not necessarily something bad, though when it hurts anywhere in the body, it really hurts. But pain is maybe a blessing. The body itself is made up with what we call pain mechanism that is built into the system. This pain mechanism is built into the system. It's like a sensor to detect that something is going wrong somewhere in the body. And so it sends nervous impulses to the brain, alerting you to the fact that something is going wrong. It acts pretty much like a smoke detector. The smoke detector is in the house to see if there's any fire somewhere. Of course, it sets off an alarm and to alert you that there is a fire somewhere. Now, pain in the body anywhere is pretty much like this smoke. So the pain is not the problem of such. The pain is only the smoke. But the fire is burning somewhere, sending off the smoke, which comes in the pain sensation. And so we have to be intelligent in knowing how to deal with pains. If we just run off and to take a couple painkillers because we're having pain, that's not an intelligent way to deal with pain. Because just the same way you would get tired or fed up of the pain detector going off, setting off an alarm, you could just go and unplug it and say, look, I am tired of hearing this thing. It's so annoying all the time. It goes off. Now, if you do that, you didn't stop the fire. The fire is still burning somewhere in the house. And after a while, the house will probably burn all the way down. So first we have to work at removing the cause of the pain. Removing the cause. And the listener concerned the listener's concern is about knee pain. And again, I'd like to say about pains that we can almost live our lives pain free if we follow the laws of nature and the laws of life. Unless you have had an accident, once you're following the laws of nature and the laws of life, you could almost live your life without pains at all. In this case, the knee pain though, knee pain is mainly caused by either some injury to the knee or by a problem known as arthritis. And arthritis affects a lot of folks around the world today. This is an inflammatory condition that affects one or more of your joints. Arthritis. Everybody's acquainted with arthritis. Families, a number of families, many families do have individuals in their families, in their homes, who suffer with this condition, arthritis. Now, it is when you have arthritis, what begins to happen is that you begin to have a little stiffness in the joints, sometimes swelling, then pain, and of course, if it continues without being corrected, you will begin to develop deformity in the joints. Deformity. Some people begin to get some cracking and grating noises when the joints move. It means that you are suffering with a joint deterioration. Now, over 55 million Americans suffer from this disease every year. And the primary source of disability is in the United States of America. And I am always so amazed at this, Sister P. I'm always amazed at this finding that in one of our leading countries in the world, where they promote the use of milk and cheese and dairy products as a source of calcium, that these countries, they have millions of inhabitants suffering with knee pains caused by deficiency in calcium. Can you work that one out for me?
I tell you, when I was there the other day, a report came out that America is the most, what is it? I don't want to use the word malnourished.
Malnourished is a good word to use.
Malnourished nation in the world. Malnourished
nation. And there's so much good
and
there.
then because of the malnourishment, they are the most obese nation in the world.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they spend the most on health care. And the more they spend on health care, the more sick they become. Now, the healthy joints, it has a little, what is called membranes, a thin membrane. And the cartilage that covers the bone surface is smooth, and a thin layer of fluid covers the bone surface. So you have a little sac of fluid in there, cushioning the joints, making the joints supple. Now, anything that interferes with this little sac of fluid will result in pains. The most common forms of arthritis are osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. Of course, osteoarthritis affects the adult population more than the younger population. Rheumatoid arthritis affects the younger population more. This osteoarthritis tends to develop at age 40 and upwards, but today we're seeing persons suffering with osteoarthritis at a very younger age. It is said that nearly 3 times as many women as men do suffer this kind of arthritis, osteoarthritis. So there's pain in the knees. The cartilage begins to break down, and the normal smooth sliding joint becomes a little dry and stiff. And when the large joint, when a large joint like the knee begins to become affected, you can be sure that in addition to that, the other smaller joints like the wrist and the fingers, and then after a while the toes, they'll also begin to be affected as well. So when this leads to brittleness, it increases also the risk of a fracture. People sometimes just have a simple, what you would call a simple slide, and what do you know? They have broken the hip
Yes.
or dislocated a joint somewhere, and they blame it on the fall. No, sometimes you need to blame it on the condition of the bones of the joints because they have been deteriorating. And that little accident that you had, that should just give you a good little bounce and you're up and gone again. It places you flat on the ground, and it becomes an emergency because the joints were unhealthy before. Now, osteoarthritis is a degenerate joint disease. This involves deterioration of the cartilage, protecting the ends of the bones. So now, you're having pain in the knees, and you're trying to go up the steps, and you're having some difficulties, and you're trying to walk around and to climb a grade, and you're having difficulties. What do? You go to the doctor and say, well, doc, I'm having pain in my knees. I'm having pain here, I'm having pain there. I need something for it. And so you get something for the pain because that's what you want. You get something for the pain and it does ease the pain. And you're gone again. Next time it happens, you have the pain again and the pain gets a little worse. And you go back and you say, doc, but I thought you had fixed my pain. And the doctor gives you something again, maybe something a little stronger. And what is happening here is that you are treating, as I said before, they are concentrating on the smoke and not on the fire that's burning. So what the doctor gives you for the pain affects the nerve. So it benumbs the nerve and fools or tricks the body into believing that, okay, there's no pain there. One injection, you walk in or you just crawl in or you hop or pull yourself in to the office of your physician with a